Tell your story.
Change the conversation.
Organized by students.
TEDx Youth at SHC.
Basketball was always a given in my life, something I watched without second thought. But earlier this October, I remember walking down the stairs, hearing the familiar sounds of sneakers squeaking and the passionate commentators shouting about some play. When I took a glance at the TV screen, I was surprised to see my dad casually watching a WNBA game, as if this were just another pastime of his. My initial reaction was disbelief, because I'd never seen someone watch professional women's basketball. Like, why not just watch a regular basketball game? Feeling guilty for thinking this, I sat down on the couch, listening to my dad giving me a rundown of the teams and catching me up. And at that moment, I realized how deeply ingrained this bias was, even in me, someone who's supposedly an advocate for women. It wasn't a conscious belief, but it had somehow seeped into my mind after years of seeing primarily men's sports dominate TV screens, headlines, and conversations. And as I watched, I found myself drawn to the game. Not because it was a women's game, but because it was simply great basketball. The players were fast, strategic, and incredibly skilled. The competition was intense, and the energy was high, just as any NBA game I had ever watched. And yet, despite this undeniable talent, women's sports continue to be treated as secondary. That's when it truly hit me. The issue isn't whether female athletes are good enough. It's that, for too long, we've been conditioned to overlook them. According to the Women's Sports Foundation, only 24% of female teenagers in the US cite a professional athlete as a role model, compared to the 47% of male teenagers. After reading this, I was able to reflect on my childhood and what sports truly meant to me. Although I was both a runner and a swimmer, my favorite sports to watch during the Olympics were gymnastics and tennis. Why? Because my 8-year-old self wanted to wear those sparkly leotards and the pink skirts. To me, the talent of a female athlete was immaterial if she had a pretty outfit or a cool hairstyle. Despite this, most fans do respect athletes for their talent, skill, and adversity, and admire them for their fame and influence. Being from the Bay Area and a Warriors fan, a name that often comes to mind is Stephen Curry. Steph Curry has arguably changed the NBA with his unmatched three-point shooting and sheer talent. A 4-time NBA champion, he's won 3 gold medals internationally and recently became the first basketball player to make 4,000 three-pointers during his career. But when I think about Stephen Curry, I see a talented basketball player, not my role model. Instead, I think of Michelle Obama, Malala, and Amanda Gorman, all women who've used their voices and academic abilities to create change. Women are pushed to find inspiration from more diplomatic and academic fields, dreaming of careers as doctors, philanthropists, and scientists rather than athletes. My dream of becoming a gymnast or a tennis player was a false reality, so I spent my time studying and working hard at school instead. This dilemma became evident to me only recently, and my curiosity prompted me to wonder if this experience was common. I crafted a project at my school asking students to cite an athletic inspiration and some brief reasoning behind their choice. As expected, most girls cited female athletes and most boys cited male athletes, possibly because it just seems more applicable. But what I found interesting was that girls primarily looked up to athletes for their looks and their personal lives, while guys admired athletes for their talent and dominance. According to the NIH, 21.7% of adolescents cited a celebrity or public figure as their role model, and 43% of adolescents cited a celebrity as their hero. Identity formation happens during adolescence, as children look to adults as mentors and idols. This influences behavior, self-confidence, social interactions, and goals, all of which are key factors in shaping individuality. Even in the modern age, women's rights are a relatively new concept. So inspirational figures for young girls are even more important in helping us find a place in this world. Athletes come into the picture because they represent dominance and competitiveness, which clashes with these conventional traits of thoughtfulness and composure that women are expected to embody. Women are expected to be graceful and nurturing, not aggressive, superior, and competitive. My dad's newfound respect for the WNBA stems from a recent turning point in women's athletics. Women's March Madness became incredibly popular as basketball stars Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and others appeared in nearly every magazine and newspaper. Following this, America sent more women than men to the Olympics for the first time. Women have increased their share of all sports media coverage from 7% to 15% as interest and recognition continue to grow. So, today, the problem of undermining female athletes isn't a lack of talent, it's a lack of recognition. Take Sha'Carri Richardson. In 2023, she didn't just win the 100-meter race in the World Championships, she ran one of the fastest female times that year, 10.65 seconds, beating some of the best sprinters on the planet. Her start is explosive, her top speed is unreachable, and her confidence is prominent in every race. She's not just a comeback story, but one of the fastest women to ever live. Or, look at Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast in history. With 37 Olympic and World Championship medals, no gymnast has ever dominated a sport the way she has. She's changing what's humanly possible. When referring to women's athletics, we tend to put a clause in front of our words. We don't say basketball, we say women's basketball. And we don't say sports, we say women's sports. But these women aren't just great female athletes, they're skilled, groundbreaking athletes. So, to all the sports fans, the ones that turn on ESPN on Thursday nights, or the ones that catch a quick highlight, ask yourself, have you ever stopped to think about how you view athletes? Boys and girls alike deserve to grow up understanding that greatness in sports isn't dependent on gender, but based on athleticism, talent, and record breaking. The next time you think about an athlete, your hero, you should ask yourself, who can inspire me to be better? Who has shown me what's possible through talent, hard work, and success? The change starts with us, fans, media, parents, and educators. Let's give female athletes the recognition they deserve and allow them to be the ones that make us dream bigger, push harder, and change what's possible. Thank you.